something about these seafaring towns. The superstition is their tall tales. I find it charming myself.
Tom, I bet you believe Wick now. Wick tried to tell you about the stages of the curse in this town, and you didn't want to listen. But this series is already looking really good, and we're going to take this journey together. Let's start with Shep Clark, one of the missing people from the town. From what we know, he went into the fog and something changed him. I'll get into that more when we break down Wick's theory about the 5 stages. But first, I want to talk about something Jerry mentioned at the Historic Society to Arthur. She said the economy used to depend heavily on whaling, which meant men would leave for years at a time. That reflects the brutal reality of the 19th century American whaling industry, especially in New England. Sailors would go on voyages that lasted 3 to 4 years, facing extreme danger just to hunt sperm whales for oil. And here's where it gets interesting. There is a story about a man named James Bartley, a sailor who was reportedly swallowed by a sperm whale in 1896 and somehow survived to tell the tale. Whether it's true or not, it adds another layer to the theme of being trapped, consumed, and then possibly change. This also connects to the biblical story of Jonah, who was swallowed by a great fish and survived inside for 3 days and 3 nights before being released. Stories like these keep repeating throughout history, and I don't think that's a coincidence. Now let's talk about the settlers. In the beginning, 43 passengers who traveled by the sea to find a new place to build a settlement from scratch. The first mayor of Widows Bay is said to be Richard Warren, which is interesting because there was a real Richard Warren who was a passenger on the Mayflower and one of the signers of the Mayflower Compact. Back in 1620, after months at sea, they finally reached land at what is now Provincetown Harbor. That moment actually connects back to Arthur's comment about Cape Cod. When he asked Tom, is the lobster is better than Cape Cod? And Tom says, fuck Cape Cod. It might sound like a joke, but it could be subtle foreshadowing tied to the town's history. And honestly, this town clearly has a dark past. Now, let's get into the conversation between Wick, Tom, and Patricia. Wick starts revealing some of the town's secrets, including the year 1846, which he calls the fog that stole souls. According to him, anyone who gets caught in the fog loses himself and eventually become a danger to others. He explained the stages. First, the eyes turn completely white, then the person loses all 5 senses and become delirious. Eventually, they lose control of their body entirely and become something else, basically like zombies. Then Wick brings up another real world mystery, which is the SS Mary. It was found abandoned in 1872, completely intact, but with the entire crew missing, no sign of struggle, just gone. That mystery lines up perfectly with what's happening in this town. Of course, Tom doesn't believe any of it, and honestly, Wick called him out as a bad leader, and he's not wrong. Tom seems more focused on appearance than the truth. He brought Arthur in to write about the town, not to understand it, but to control the narrative. But everything starts to change when Shep returns. Tom sees him and realizes something is very wrong. Shep's eyes are white and he attacks Tom. That's when Tom finally starts to lose his composure. But Shep's medical record says he is 37 years of age, but he doesn't look 37 at all. And then Arthur drops another important piece of information. He tells Tom that some people believe if you're born on the island, you can't leave. And if you do leave, you die. Now, of course, Tom doesn't believe it and calls it an old wives' tale. That suggests the curse isn't random. It's tied to people themselves, which leads to a theory of mine. What if the 43 passengers who first settled here did something that caused this curse, and now everyone connected to them is trapped in this cycle? Tom prepares to leave the diner. The camera slowly moves downward beneath the ground. We see multiple underground chambers, all empty except for the last one. At the bottom, there is a dimly lit room in the chair in the center. The chair has straps and chains facing a cellar door that leads even deeper below the island. That image is disturbing. The straps suggest someone is meant to be restrained there, which raises the question, what happened when the door opens? Because whatever is behind it isn't meant to be seen. And that's how episode 1 leaves us, with more questions than answers. But I have to say, I really enjoyed this episode. I love the characters, especially the woman in the town. Ruth is already becoming my favorite. She really clocked out mentally and went home to take a nap while she was supposed to be working. And I don't blame her. I would have did the same thing. The show gives me strong The Fog vibes, which is one of my favorite movies. It also feels like something Stephen King will create, mixed with that slow atmosphere style of Twin Peaks. Overall, this is a strong start. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts about episode 1. I would love to hear your theories. I appreciate every single one of you of liking and subscribing to my channel. It really means a lot. And if you want to support the channel even more, make sure you check out the membership and become an innkeeper. Coming up next, I will be reviewing from season 4, episode 3. And I cannot wait for you guys to check out my theories on this one. I'll see you in the next one.